Kari Martensen, The Philosophy of Caring. Kari Martensen is a Norwegian nurse, philosopher, and nursing theorist. She was born on September 28, 1943 in Oslo, Norway. She graduated from Olivoll College of Nursing in 1964, where she was learned the knowledge and skills needed to become a professional nurse. After graduation, she specialized in psychiatric nursing in 1966. This means she worked with patients who had mental health conditions. Through this experience, she realized that patients need not only medical treatment, but also emotional support, understanding, and compassion. Martin also studied philosophy and phenomenology at the University of Bergen. Philosophy helped her understand the values and ethics of nursing, while phenomenology is a study of people's lived experiences. Then, this thought here that nurses should listen to the patients, understand their feelings, and respect their experiences. In 1984, she earned her PhD in nursing history. She later became a professional researcher and author. She developed the philosophy of caring. Mao nang gitawag na si Kari Martensen is the philosophy of caring, which has influenced nursing education and practice around the world. Her famous quote is, "Nursing is founded on caring for life, on neighborly love." This quote means that nursing is then giving medicines or performing medical procedures. Nursing is about caring for the whole person with kindness, compassion, respect, and love. Every patient deserves to be treated with dignity because every human life is valuable. According to Kari Martensen, a good nurse should build a care relationship with patients. Nurses should see the patient as a whole person, not just someone with an illness. They should listen carefully, understand the patient's needs, and provide both physical and emotional care. So, Kari Martensen believed that the caring is the heart of nursing. Her philosophy reminds us that nursing is not only a profession, but also a commitment to care for the others with compassion, respect, and genuine concern. As a future nurses, we should always remember that the small acts of kindness can make a big difference in our different patients' lives. According to Kari Martensen, the philosophy of caring, caring is the foundation of nursing. This means that caring is the most important part of being a nurse. Nursing is not only about giving medicines, checking vital signs, or performing procedures. It is also about performing kindness, understanding, and genuine concern for every patient. The second principle is that patients should be treated with dignity and compassion. That means every patient deserves respect regardless of their age, illness, religion, or background. Nurses should treat patients with empathy, listen to their concerns, and make them safety, valued, and respected. The third principle is that nursing combines professional knowledge and human kindness. A good nurse must have the knowledge and skills to provide the safe and effective care. However, knowledge alone is not enough. Nurses should also be kind to the patient and compassionate, because these qualities help patients feel comfortable and supported during their recovery. Lastly, nurse should care for the whole person, not just the illness. This means nurses should consider not only the patient's physical condition, but also their emotional, mental, social, and even spiritual needs. By providing holistic care, nurses can help improve the patient's overall well-being. In summary, Kari Martensen believed that nursing is more than treating diseases. It is about caring for the whole person, caring for the every patient with compassion, respect, and professional knowledge and genuine kindness. These values help nurses build trust and provide the best possible care. Now, I will discuss the theoretical sources of Kari Martensen, the philosophy of caring. Kari Martensen philosophy was influenced by different philosophers and thinkers who helped shape her ideas about nursing and caring. First is Karl Marx. He believed that society and inequality affects people's lives and health. Martensen agreed that a patient's social and economic situation can influence their health, so nurses should understand these challenges when providing care. Second is Edmund Husserl. He introduced the idea of understanding a person's lived experiences. This means nursing should listen carefully to patients and understand how they feel, not just focus on their illness. Third is Maurice Merleau-Ponty. He believed that the body and human experience are connected. Martensen used these ideas to explain that nurses should care for the whole person, both the body and the mind. Fourth is Martin Heidegger. He believed that caring is a natural part of being a human. Martensen believed that caring is the heart of nursing and should always be present in the nurse-patient and the patient-and-nurse relationship. Fifth is Synod L. Logstrop. He thought that caring for others is a moral responsibility. Nurses have an ethical duty to protect, respect, and help their patients. Next is Max Weber, who emphasized professionalism and ethics. Martensen believed that nurses should combine their professional knowledge with compassion and respect. Lastly is Michael Foucault and Rule Rocker influenced Martensen's ideas about ethics, power, and listening to patient stories. They believe that understanding a patient's experience helps nurses provide more compassionate and person-centered area. In summary, para dili mo maglibog, these thinkers helped Kari Martensen develop a philosophy that combines knowledge, ethics, and compassion and respect, making care the foundation of nursing. And it is very important to respect the patient. It is not because it is from different religion or we have different age, but always remember that Kari Martensen believed that the foundation of nursing, it is caring.
Hello everyone, my name is Sebenshine C. Peñar, and today I'll be discussing empirical evidence by Kari Martensen. So what is empirical evidence pala? It refers to the evidence that support Kari Martensen theory to real nursing experiences, observation, reflection, and professional practice, not just by scientific experiment. So the first one is professional judgment, meaning a nurse use their knowledge, skills, and experiences to make the best decision for a patient. So example ani is, ang patient ning ingon sa nurse nga okay lang sila, pero na observe or na notice sa nurse nga kanang they are look pale, tas weak sila, tas uncomfortable sila. So instead of believing their words, gi-assist sa nurse ang iyahang patient kung unsay buhaton sa patient. So mo na siya ang professional judgment. Ang ikaduha naman kay reflection, meaning nurses think about their experiences to improve the care they provide in the future. So example, after caring a patient who was cared before surgery, so na-realize sa nurse nga if explainin mo sa patient ang procedure nga calmly, it help reduce their anxiety. So the nurse decide to do the same with the future. So ang reflection is help nurses learn from their experiences and become better caregiver for the patient. So, ang ikatulong naman kay patient narrative. Nurses listen to the patient's own story, feelings, and experiences. So, example, ang patient ning ingon sa nurse nga, I miss my family, I feel lonely in the hospital. So, ang buhaton sa nurse is maghatag siya og kanang emotional support o i-help niya ang patient nga makakontak sa iyang family or sa iyang friends or sa iyang mga loved ones, like i-help niya nga maka-video call sila para ma-reduce ang kamingaw sa nagibati sa patient. So, ang ikaapat naman kay experiences-based evidence. So, meaning, nurse improve their care based on what they have learned from the previous patient. Like, for example, kanang na-notice sa nurse nga if makikistorya siya sa bata nga gently before giving an injection, males ang ka-afraid sa bata, which is mo na iyahang buhaton if mag-inject na po siya sa sunod nga bata kay nakita niya nga kanang mugana to nga technique. So ang experiences-based evidence means nurses use what they have learned from the past experiences to provide better care. So, mao to siya ang empirical evidence. So, upat to sila. Ang una, professional judgment, ikaduha kay reflection, ang ikatulo kay patient narrative, ug ang ikaapat kay experience-based evidence.
Everyone, today I will discuss the major assumption of Kari Martinsen's philosophy of caring. Martinsen believes that caring is the most important part of nursing. She says that nursing is not only about giving medicine or treating illness. It is also about showing kindness, respect, and understanding to every patient. Nurses should see patients as people who need both medical care, and emotional support. The first assumption is nursing. According to Martinsen, nursing is about caring for people and protecting life. Nurses help patients recover from illness, prevent health problems, and make them feel safe and comfortable. Nursing is not only about using skills and knowledge, it is about being kind, patient, and understanding. A good nurse listens to patients, supports them, and treats them with respect. The second assumption is person. Every person is unique and deserves respect. Each patient has different needs, beliefs, feelings, and experiences. Nurses should not only focus on the patient's illness, but also understand the person behind the illness. By treating every patient with kindness and respect, nurses can build trust and provide better care. The third assumption is health. Health is more than just being free from disease. It also includes a person's physical, emotional, social, and spiritual well-being. A person may have an illness but can still feel healthy if they receive proper care, support, and encouragement. Nurses help improve all parts of a person's health, not only their physical condition. The fourth assumption is environment. The environment includes everything around the patient, such as their family, home, hospital, and community. A clean, safe, and peaceful environment helps people recover faster. Family support and good relationships also play an important role in healing. Nurses should help create a safe and caring environment for every patient. The last assumption is sacred. Martinsans believe that every human life is precious and should always be respected. Nurses should care for every patient with compassion, honesty, and dignity. No matter what they are or what their condition is, every patient deserves equal care and respect. To summarize, Kari Martinez teaches us that nursing is not only about treating illnesses, it is also about caring for the whole person with kindness, respect, and compassion. Now, I will discuss the theoretical assertion of Kari Martinez's philosophy of caring. These assertions help explain her main ideas about people, caring, and nursing. The first assertion is that people are relational and dependent on others. This means that people need relationship and support from others throughout their lives. No one can live completely alone. When people become sick, they often need help from family, friends, and healthcare workers. Nurses play an important role in giving care, comfort, and support. A good relationship between the nurse and the patient helps the patient feel safe, respected, and cared for. The second assertion is that caring is fundamental to human life. Caring is a basic part of being human. People need care from childhood until old age. When someone is sick, caring helps them feel less afraid and gives them hope. Even small acts of kindness, like listening carefully, speaking gently, or helping them with their daily needs, can make a big difference. Martin Zen believes that caring is just as important as medical treatment. The last assertion is that nursing protects and supports life throughout through compassionate care. Nurses protect lives by using their knowledge, skills, and kindness. They help patients recover, reduce pain, and improve their quality of life. Compassion means understanding how a patient feels and showing concern for them. When nurses combine professional skill with compassion, patient, patients feel respected, safe, and supported. In conclusion, Karl Martinsen's philosophy of caring reminds us that nursing is more than treating illness. It is also about caring for the whole person with kindness, respect, and compassion. By building good relationship and treating every patient with dignity, nurses can provide better care and help people live healthier lives. Thank you.
Greetings to everyone. I am Kobe Bryant Bilagman, and today I will present to you my part in this reporting. First, let's talk about the topic, the acceptance by the nursing community. So what is the meaning behind this topic? It is more about how the medical or the nursing world, to be specific, accepts and use this theory. It is trusted and applied in three big areas. First is practice. The word practice. This is what nurses do every day in hospitals, clinics, or in homes. It guides us to be kind, to listen, and to connect with patients, not just treat their sickness. A simple example for this is staying a little longer to explain a medical procedure, or holding the patient's hand whenever they are scared or terrified. That is what the word practice means in Kari Martinson's theory. Second is education. Nursing schools teaches this theory to students, especially like us nursing students and MDC. We learn not only like giving injections, but also how to take care properly. And take note of what I'm about to say because it is very important. It trains us to see the whole person, not just their illness. That is what the word education means in this theory. Third and last is research. Nurses use this theory to do studies and answer the questions like, how does being kind help the patients heal faster? Or what do patients really need from us? What we find in the future improves nursing care for everyone. And on to my very last topic, which is the further development. Let's look at how this theory helps nursing keep growing and improving. First is to promote compassionate and ethical nursing practice. It always reminds us to do the right thing and be kind. It stops us from seeing our patients as just a bed number or a case. We must remember that they are people with feelings and fear. Second is encourage practice-based nursing research. It pushes us to learn from our own daily work. Instead of blindly following rules, we ask, is this good for the patient? Is this caring? We improve care based on what we see and experience. Third is supporting person-centered healthcare. This means that the patient is the most important part. We respect their choices, listen to their needs, and work with them, not just do things to them. And lastly is influencing nursing practice, research, and healthcare organization. This theory does not only change what individual nurses do, it also shapes how school teaches, how hospital runs, and how health policies are made. It makes caring a key rule for all good healthcare. Carrie Martinson's theory tells us that caring is not extra. It is the essence of nursing.
Now that we have discussed the Carrie Martinson, the philosophy of caring, let's proceed to the next theory, which is Kati Erickson, the qualitative of caring. Let's begin. Kati Erickson was born on November 18, 1943 in Jakobstad, Finland. She was a Finnish nurse, educator, and caring scientist theorist. She is the one of the most well-known nursing theorists because of her contributions to the development of caring science. She graduated in nursing in 1965, where she gained the knowledge and skills to become a professional nurse. After that, she specialized in public health nursing in 1967. This allowed her to care not only for individual patients, but also for families and communities by promoting health and preventing diseases. Kati Erickson believed that nursing is a more than treating illness. She believed that nurses should care for the whole person by showing compassion, respect, and love. Her experiences in nursing inspired further development her own nursing theory called the theory of qualitative caring. To deepen her understanding of caring, she earned the master's degree in philosophy in 1974, studied philosophy, human life, dignity, and compassion. Later, in 1982, she earned a doctorate in pedagogy, which is the study of education and teaching. This prepared her to become a teacher and a researcher who influenced nursing students and professionals. As an educator and theorist, Kati Erickson introduced the idea that caring is the heart of nursing. She believed that every patient should be treated with love, mercy, respect, and dignity. According to her, nurses should not only focus on curing diseases, but also help reduce the patient's physical, emotional, and spiritual suffering. Her work has greatly influenced nursing education and practice, especially in caring science. Many nurses continue to use her ideas to provide compassion, patient-centered, and holistic care. So remember everyone that Kathy Erickson dedicated her life to improving nursing through education, research, and the theory of caritative caring. Her philosophy reminds us that true nursing is based on love, compassion, and respect for every person's dignity. As what I said sa Carrie Martinson, that as we nurse someday, we should always remember that caring is not only what we do, but also how we treat in every patient, because it is very important to treat the patient nicely. And now I will discuss the career and contributions of Kathy Erickson. Kathy Erickson made many important contributions to the nursing profession. She is known as a pioneer of caring science because she helped develop caring science as a field of study. Caring science focuses on understanding caring as the heart of nursing and teaches nurses to provide compassionate and holistic care to every patient. In 1986, she founded the Department of Caring Science at Abu Akademir University in Finland. This one as an important achievement because it gave nursing students and researchers a place to study and improve caring science. Through this department, many nurses learned how to provide better care based on compassion, respect, and human dignity. Kathy Erickson also became the first professor caring of science. As a professor, she taught students, guided researchers. She believed that nurses should not only learn clinical skills, but also understand the importance of kindness, empathy, and respect when caring for the patient. On her greatest contributions was the development of the theory of caritative caring. In this theory, the word caritative came from the Latin words caritas, which means love, mercy, and charity. Erickson believed that caring should always be based on love and compassion. She said that nurses should care for the whole person, including their physical, emotional, social, and spiritual needs, not just treat their illness. Finally, Kathy Erickson focused on teaching, research, and compassionate nursing care. She spent many years educating to improve nursing practice and promoting compassionate care. Her work continues to inspire nurses around the world to provide care with knowledge, kindness, and respect for the other's patient. Then, in conclusion, Kathy Erickson career and contributions help shape modern nursing. Her work reminds us that caring is the foundation of nursing and that every patient deserves compassionate, respect, and holistic care.
And now let's proceed to the theoretical sources for theory development. First, we begin with Day 2. Truth, goodness, and justice guide caring. He believed that absolute ideals like truth, goodness, and justice exist objectively. In nursing theory, we apply this by recognizing that caring is not just a random action. It must always be guided by moral truths,
clinical goodness, commitment to justice, and ensuring that every patient receive fair and ethical treatment. Next is Aristotle. Virtue and wisdom lead to nursing care. Aristotle focused on character and practical wisdom. It is known as pronesis. He argued that being a good professional requires a cultivating virtues like being compassion and courage. For theory development, this means that exceptional nursing care is the result of combining clinical wisdom with inherently virtuous character. The third one, we have Anders Nygren. Caring should be based on selfless love. Anders Nygren, a Swedish theologian, is famous for his work on agape, which translates to unconditional, selfless love. When applied to nursing, Nygren philosophy emphasized that true care is altruistic. We care for our patients based on their entire vulnerability and needs. Sa pag-atingon jud nato sa ato ang pasyente no is naga-base jud ta sa kung unsa ilang gibati, unsa ang ilang kailangan, dili jud ta magpataka or magbuhat nga dili fit sa ilang situation. And then he stated also na ang pag-care sa pasyente ang pag-care natin sa pasyente is expecting nothing in return. So, we have the fourth one, Hans Georg Gadamer. Understanding comes through communication. Hans Georg Gadamer was a pioneer in hermeneutics, or the philosophy of interpretation. He believed that true understanding between humans only happens through open, meaningful dialogue. In nursing, this reminds us that to develop accurate care plans, we must communicate deeply para mas ma-subtan or ma-understand nato ang patient's lived experience. The fifth one is si Augustine of Hippo. Love and compassion are essential in caring. Augustine viewed love as the supreme driving force of human action. In this context of nursing theory, he provides the foundation idea that clinical skills alone are insufficient. Compassion and genuine love for humanity are the core engines that give meaning to healthcare practices. We have the sixth one is we have Soren Kierkegaard. Caring requires personal responsibility. As an existentialist, Soren emphasized individual choice and personal accountability for their choices, actions, and the quality of care they choose to provide to their patients. So, the seventh one is Emmanuel Levinas. We have an ethical duty to care for others. So, Emmanuel focused his entire philosophy on the ethics of the faith. He argued that presence of another human being, especially one who is vulnerable, places an immediate inescapable ethical demand on us to care for them. So in nursing, Levinas teaches us that caring is not optional or just a job description. It is a fundamental ethical duty that triggers the moment a patient asks for our help. The eighth one is Thomas Kuhn. Nursing knowledge develops over time.
Now let's look at how nursing science and knowledge change, starting with Thomas. Thomas is famous for introducing the concept of paradigm shift. He showed that scientific knowledge doesn't just grow in a straight line, but it undergoes massive shifts when new discoveries break old ways of thinking. So nursing theory, it relies on this concept because our understanding of health, illness, and patient care must constantly evolve over time as new research emerges. Next, and the last one is Karl Popper. Knowledge improved through questioning and learning. So, lastly, we have Popper, a philosopher of science who championed the idea of falsification. Popper argued that science advances not by proving things right, but by being constantly questioning, testing, and trying to find flaws in our current knowledge so we can improve it. For nursing, this is the foundation of evidence-based practice. We must never stop questioning old habits, testing new methods, and learning every day to provide the safest care possible. Thank you.
Good day, I am Ranwa Egili, and today I will be discussing my assigned topics on Katie's Erikson theory. My topics are the use of empirical evidence and the major assumption. First, let us talk about the use of empirical evidence. Empirical evidence means that Katie's Erikson theory is supported by research and real nursing practice. It is based on research and real nursing practice, which means that her theory came from actual studies and the experience of nurses caring for patients. Second, it uses hermeneutic and hypothetical deductive approaches. Hermeneutic means understanding the patient experience and feelings, while hypothetical deductive means testing ideas through research. Third, it combines theory and empirical evidence, meaning the theory is connected to real-life nursing practice. Fourth, it was tested and validated through research studies showing that it can be applied in actual nursing care. Lastly, it supports evidence-based caring, which means nurses use both research and compassionate care to provide the best care for their patients. Next are the major assumptions of Katie's Erikson theory. First is the human being. A person is a whole being with a body, soul, spirit, and every person has dignity and deserves respect. For example, if a patient is afraid before surgery, the nurse not only prepares the patient physically, but also comforts and encourages them. This shows that the nurse cares for the whole person, not just the illness. Second is nursing. Nursing is a caring with love and compassion, also called as caritas, to reduce suffering. For example, a nurse comforts a lonely patient by listening, showing kindness and giving emotional support, not just by giving medicine. Third is environment. A caring environment is built on love, respect, and kindness to help patient heal. For example, keeping the patient room clean, peaceful, and making the patient feel safe, comfortable can help their recovery. Lastly is health. Health is not only the absence absence of illness. It is also includes physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual well-being. For example, even if a patient has diabetes, they can still be considered healthy if they manage their condition, stay positive, and receive emotional and spiritual support. So, that ends my discussion about the use of empirical evidence and the major assumption of Kitty's Erikson theory.
Now, let's talk about the acceptance of Katie Erickson theory of creative caring by the nursing community. Her theory is widely recognized and used because it emphasizes love, compassion, and respect in nursing. It has influenced nursing practice, education, and research, helping nurses provide more holistic and patient-centered care. So the first one is practice. Her theory is used by nurses in hospital and healthcare settings. Like example, a nurse takes times to comfort a patient who is afraid instead of only giving medicine and leaving. So, her theory reminds nurses to care for the whole person, not just by the illness. So, the second one is education, meaning her theory is taught in nursing school. Like, for example, a clinical instructor teaches students to treat every patient with kindness, dignity, and respect during hospital duty. So, nurses students learn that caring is the heart of the nurse. So, the third one is research, meaning researcher continue to study and improve her theory. Like, for example, a researcher study whether compassionate nursing care help patients recover faster and feel less anxious. So, researcher use Erickson theory to improve the quality of nursing care. So, mao na siya ang tulo ka buok nga naa sa acceptance by the nursing community by Kitty Erickson.
To better understand Kari Martensen, the philosophy of caring, let us look at this simple patient scenario. This example shows how a nurse applies compassion, respect, ethical responsibility, and holistic care in every nursing practice. Let us begin. Let's imagine an elderly patient with diabetes who has been admitted to the hospital. During the assessment, the nurse learns that the patient cannot always afford to buy their medicines because of the financial problems. As a result, the patient's diabetes is not well controlled. Instead of blaming or judging the patient, the nurse tries to understand the reason behind the situation. The nurse also helps the patient connect with available health services and assistance programs that can provide support. This shows that good nursing care includes understanding the patient's social and financial situation, not just their illness. The nurse also takes time to listen to the patient's fears, worries, and life experiences. The patient may be worried about their health, their future, or how they will be continuing paying for medicines. Instead of rushing the conversation, the nurse listens carefully without interrupting or judging the patient. This helps the patients feel heard, respected, and understood. According to Kari Martensen, listening is an important part of caring because it allows nurses to understand what the patient is truly experiencing. Another important part of this example is that nurse recognizes that the patient's physical, emotional, and social are all connected. Physical, the patient needs treatment for diabetes. Emotional, the patient may feel stressed, anxious, or discouraged because of their conditions. Socially is the financial problems may prevent them from receiving proper treatment. Carrie Martinson believed that nurses should care for the whole person, not just focus on the disease. Understanding all these aspects help nurses provided more meaningful and effective care. The nurse also provides compassionate, ethical, and respectful care throughout the patient's stay in the hospital. The nurse protects the patient's privacy by maintaining confidentiality and follows professional standards in every decision. The patient is treated with kindness, fairness, and dignity at all times. This shows that nursing is not only about performing medical procedures, but also about acting ethically and professionally. Another important example is how the nurse aspects the patient's right, choices, and personal story. The nurse encourages the patient to ask questions, experience concerns, and participate in making decisions about their treatment. Instead of deciding everything alone, the nurse works together with the patient. This helps the patient feel respected and gives them confidence in managing their own health. Overall, this example clearly reflects Carrie Martinson, the philosophy of caring. Her philosophy teaches that nursing is built on compassion, respect, ethical responsibility, and understanding the patient's life experiences. She believed that nurses should see patients as unique human beings with their own feelings, experiences, and life situation rather than simply focusing on their medical diagnosis. In conclusion, Carrie Martinson reminds us that excellent nursing care is not only about treating diseases, it is about understanding the whole person, listening with empathy, respecting human dignity, acting ethically, and providing compassionate care. As a future nurses, soon, if magiging RN tayo, we should remember that every patient has a unique story, and by listening, understanding, and caring with compassion, we can make a positive difference in their healing and overall well-being. So, the philosophy of Carrie Martinson is, it is important to us because nag-show sila na dili lang para sa mga patient na nag-aayo ang mga nurse sa mga patient na sakit, kundi nag-care sila sa whole person, and they give some respect for those patient, and equality po ang ilahang pag-treat. Then it is very important na equality ang pag-treat sa patient. For example, dato siya or pobre siya, dili ingon na ang unahon niya is ang dato, which is it's not right, because the philosophy of caring, the Carrie Martinson says that it is very important to treat the patient's equality. Even ang religion niya is lahi, then ang ilang gender, ang ilahang status sa ilahang life, then ang ilahang background. So it is very important na maging equal tanan. Then dagan pud tay matun-an sa philosophy of caring ni Carrie Martensen is it's because naginatulo po dito na pinaka biggest key elements dito or types is ang respect. Cause nag-ingon po dito na unsaon nimo ang imuhang mga professional skills or ang mga professional knowledge if dili nimo i-treat ang mga patient og tarong og ikaw mismo na nurse is walay batasan. So everyone who listen to this video, the best example of this is need na to i-treat ang isa ka patient or ang mga patient sa isa ka hospital or sa isa ka environment bisag we're not the same pag-abot sa mga status sa life, and that's all. And now, let's proceed to the example of Cathy Erickson para dali siya ma-understand, para makasabot dayon. Okay, let's imagine a 70-year-old patient who has admitted to the hospital after having a stroke. Because of the stroke, the patient feels weak, afraid, and lonely. To make the situation even more difficult, no family members are visiting the patient, makes the patient feel emotionally and physically vulnerable. The first thing the nurse does is enter the room with a warm smile, greet the patient politely. Although this seems like a simple action, it is very meaningful to the patient. According to Cathy Erickson, caring begins with love, kindness, and compassion. A warm greeting helps the patient feel welcome, respected, and less alone. It also builds trust between the nurse and the patient. Next, the nurse listens carefully to the patient's concerns instead of rushing. The nurse gives the patient time to express their fears and emotions. The nurse also explains the treatment and the procedures using simple words that the patient can easily understand. When the patient starts crying because they miss their family, the nurse comforts them, offers encouraging words, and stays with them for a few moments. This shows that nursing is not only about giving medicine or performing procedures. It is also about providing emotional support. Another important of the scenario is when the patient needs help. As soon as the call bell rings, the nurse responds immediately. The nurse assesses the patient safely and compassionately. This demonstrates that caring means being responsible, attentive, and ready to help whenever the patient needs assistance. Prompt care also helps the patient feel safe and valued. The nurse also respects the patient's beliefs, cultures, and dignity. Even if the patient has a different traditions, religious belief, or personal values, the nurse provides the same quality of care without discrimination. Cathy Erickson believed that every human being has a dignity and deserves equal respect. Nurses should always treat every patient fairly, regardless of their background. Another example in this scenario is the nurse's commitment to continuous learning. The nurse attends seminars, studies new nursing techniques, and use updated evidence-based practices. This is important because healthcare continues to change. By improving knowledge and skills, nurses can provide safer, more effective, and higher quality care for their patients. Overall, This example reflects Kati Erickson, the theory of caritative caring. Her theory teaches that nursing is much more than treating illness or completing medical tasks. It is about showing love, relieving suffering, protecting the patient's dignity, respecting each other person's uniqueness, and caring for the whole person. Like for example, the physically, the emotionally, and the socially and spiritually. Then in conclusion, lastly, Kati Erickson reminds us that caring is the heart of nursing. As future nurses, we should not only focus on a curing disease, but also on making our patients feel heard, respected, comfort, and valued. Even small acts of kindness, such as smiling, listening, and offering emotional support, can make a big difference in a patient's healing process. Okay, to better understand what I've said earlier, do you remember that I said in the Carrie Martenson, nag-ingon dito na si Carrie Martenson it's not all about the caring, and it's not all about to cure the disease, but it's all about to love, to give love, respected, and equal treatment. So kang ano na pod, kang Kati Erickson is nagbelieve siya diri na dili lang daw, it's not all about sa paghatag og medicine sa isa ka patient, kundili maging patas gihapon. Murag the same ra sila sa Carrie Martenson. Kay diri kang Kati Erickson is nagbelieve siya na dapat bisag unsa ang imuhang culture, imong beliefs, o ang imuhang religion, dapat i-treat pod ka og fair. Murag same lang sila kang Carrie Martenson. Then kang Kati Erickson sa gidiscuss nako karon na theory, para it is easy to understand, is naga-develop lang or naga-encourage na, for example, what I've said earlier, that 70-year-old na patient is wala siya family, there's no family visiting to her, cause I don't know what's the reason. The example I give, it is based on own experience, that naay 70-year-old na tigulang na hospital. Then wala siya give visit sa iyahang family, sa mga relatives, o sa mga kailan niya. Then ikaw na nurse, dapat imong buhaton is you need to, because mag-ano ka, smile nimo siya, pangutan-on nimo siya, then offeran pod nimo siya. Cause nag-ana man jud si Kati Erickson na bisag actions can make patients comfortable. Like for example, what I've said earlier, na ay patient na 70 years old na wala siya gi-visit sa iyang family, sa mga relatives. So ikaw na nurse na naa sa hospital, you need to communicate well. You need to understand kung sa iyang feeling, pangutan-on nimo siya if unsa ang iyang mga needs, cause action can make the patients comfortable. Like pangutan-on nimo siya, for example, pangutan-on nako siya na, good morning po, what is your problem po? Can I sit there? Kinamag chika-chika mo. Mag-istorya mo about kumusta siya, or okay lang siya, or for example, mag-surgery siya, if gikulbaan siya, then you need to make them na confident.